You're listening to Legal Talk Network.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Special Reports on Legal Talk Network. This is Laurence Colletti. I'm the producer and host for today's show, which is being recorded on location during the ABA Midyear Meeting at the George R. Brown Convention Center in downtown Houston, Texas. Joining me now, I have two guests. The first is Miss Ruth Glick, and the second is Miss Nancy Greenwald, and they're involved in the dispute resolution section here for the ABA, but I'm going to have them talk a little bit more about their involvement. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. I'm Ruth Glick, and I'm the immediate past chair of the dispute resolution section of the ABA, a section that is almost 18,000 strong, a section that is composed of all kinds of interesting people, not only dispute resolution practitioners like me, I'm an arbitrator and mediator, but we have a lot of academics and court people and general counsel or lawyers with corporations and litigators and students. And we are a active section. I'm going to tell you more about it, but I want Nancy to introduce herself as well.
Great. You said you had 18,000 members of the dispute resolution section. Okay, that's wonderful. So now I'm assuming you guys have some great programs and member benefits?
Well, we do. And if you have anything to do with any kind of litigation, you should probably be a member of our dispute resolution section because we offer a number of very comprehensive resources. First, you can go to our website and look at all the kinds of papers and studies that have been done. Every year, we have a big annual meeting. This year, it's going to be in Seattle in April, mid-April, where we have over 100 programs with top practitioners and people in the field, so you can learn so much about what's going on. We have yearly training institutes. The Mediation Training Institute is very successful. It's usually a 2-day program where folks really can learn from the top people in the field. We have an Arbitration Training Institute, which is advanced arbitrator training. And just this year, we're going to start a Negotiation Training Institute.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of things going on. And we offer things for everyone, including particularly women. We'd like to see women have their fair representation in the number of arbitrators and mediators. And to that end, I was a founder and I'm a co-chair with Nancy of a group called WIDER, Women in Dispute Resolution. We've done some real phenomenal things, including totally raising the awareness among providers about listing women for potential positions as arbitrators and mediators, and raising users' awareness that they should be using women, at least, be conscious, choose women, because it adds more, and it's not only for diversity purposes, but it adds richness and fullness and sometimes leads to much better resolutions. But Nancy, add on to this, because you've done an incredible job and on our monthly newsletter, our monthly meetings, and it's just been viral in terms of participation for women. This reflects the one of the missions of our section is really to be helpful to folks in their practice. As Nancy mentioned, you're almost a sole proprietor, even though you may work for one of the ADR providers. So we offer a lot of supportive efforts, marketing tips. This is for everyone, and I think that's why people are happy to be part of the section. But that's not all we do. I know, Laurence, you may want to ask me another question, but I'm going to tell you that we've been successful here in the States, but we're reaching out internationally.
That's great.
And we right now, our current chair of the section is leading a delegation to Delhi, India.
That's what I've heard. Now, I want to learn a lot about that. So this is wonderful. So now they took off to Delhi, is that correct? And at Delhi, India, so quite a ways away. And now, what are they doing? What it's a program. It's a particular event that they're negotiating, mediating.
It is an event that our chair Geeta Ravindra put together that now has, I think, 165 to 200 participants, including the top judiciary of India.
Wow!
And it is a meeting in which they're discussing mediation practices, as well as the UNCITRAL is trying to draft a directive on enforcement of mediation agreements cross-border.
Wow.
So there will be representatives from UNCITRAL, from a lot of Asian nations that are out there, a lot of other international folks, and a good contingent of our section is there. And this follows a successful trip we did last year to Vietnam, where a handful of us from the section went and spoke to the top officials there and are helping them write a mediation protocol. So
Wow.
we're trying to export some of our ideas, our expertise. And I must say, a couple months ago, a group went to Cuba, but they can't take any credit for the new change of U.S. policy. But we were there first.
Well, let me ask you this as just sort of a follow-up on that. How is that being received overseas? After you guys arrive and work with everybody, how is that? Is it sticking? Are they liking it? Or
Oh yeah, amazing. They want it. They want more of it, and we want to involve them into our section. And we do have a lot of communication. It's just interesting what happened with Vietnam. There's someone from our section helping them work on that protocol using some of the experience and some of the established protocols that are already used in the U.S. So it's really been, I think, very beneficial.
So, Ruth and Nancy, have you gone yourselves on these trips?
I went to Vietnam.
You were in Vietnam?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Nancy?
I have not yet had that opportunity.
Okay. One of the things I just think is so interesting, as we bring, sort of our understanding, like alternative dispute resolution as I learned it in law school, we're bringing those techniques overseas. I would imagine there's probably some lessons that came back from overseas. So when you were over there in Vietnam, what was your big takeaway? What did you learn through that process?
Well, what you learn, and as anyone knows when they're in sort of a diplomatic role, is that you are there to listen first. And much as we do as mediators, we listen and we're respectful. Their way of doing things may not be exactly on track of the way we're used to doing things. We're the most litigious society here, and you think that's frightening to a lot of these other countries. They don't have that kind of active litigation. But what happens is we learn from them as much as they learn from us. And so it really ends up being a very mutually beneficial relationship. And it's great to be a part of it.
That's great. I'm super impressed. I didn't realize there was so much going on with dispute resolution section here at ABA, but I want to ask you, as exciting as this has been so far, in 2014 going into 2015, what can members expect in 2015 going on 2016?
They can expect more of the same and even more.
Oh, great.
They can. Well, when you think about it, what is it, 98, 99% of all cases result in settlement before, they go to a court. So everybody's got to know about this, and everyone is realizing that the high cost of litigation is just prohibitive, even for small companies, because it just doesn't make sense. Nancy was alluding to earlier, many of the corporations are doing so much in-house for step processes to resolve disputes. And one of our professors connected with the section put together a protocol called PETR, Planned Early Dispute Resolution.
Oh, I like that acronym.
Yes, we have acronyms for everything. We have other professors doing videos on mock mediations just to begin to train people. It's not like you have to be, a mediator or an arbitrator, but you have to learn to respect one another, to listen to what other interests are, to find some way to resolve it that can be mutually beneficial. And if I could just say, open invitation for folks. I'm sure many out there belong to the ABA, join our section. I don't think you'll ever find such friendly, interested, and interesting people, and it's just a good experience.
That's a great segue for my last question for each of you. So I'm going to start with Ruth, okay? And I love asking this question. In terms of helping your career, give me your number one reason for joining dispute resolution section.
I'm not even thinking of helping my career. I'm thinking of helping me as a more well-rounded person and being able to learn from other people all around the country and now internationally, which gives me new ideas, new techniques, and when I'm trying to resolve complex business litigation or learning from other arbitrators that you interact with at the section, and just generally making friends with all these people that I have this whole new life that, and I've been a member for a long time, but I value it very highly.
Nancy.
Yeah, I would say that what drew me into the section was the incredible knowledge base, the opportunity to be reading cutting-edge articles in the field that I want to be working in. And that's invaluable. But the sense of community and direct interaction and just friendship that Ruth talked about has been a wonderful and initially unexpected development as part of my membership in this section. And we sort of don't have the senior partner down the hall that you can call to talk through something, but we do that with each other in the section, and that's also incredibly valuable.
Fantastic. Well, it looks like we've reached the end of our time for our program today, but I want to thank our guests, Miss Ruth Glick and Miss Nancy Greenwald, for joining us. And quick, before we sign off, I know you guys traveled from a very long distance to be here. Ruth, where are you from?
I'm from San Francisco Bay Area.
Great.
Where it's warmer weather than it is in Houston right now.
That is ironic. So, yes. And Nancy, where are you from?
I've come from West Hartford, Connecticut, and as cool as it is in Houston today, it's much colder there.
All right. Well, if our listeners want to get a hold of either of you and ask questions about dispute resolution section, how can they get a hold of you and find you?
I have a website and an email. It's ruthvglick.com.
And I can be reached at ngreenwald@construction.org.
Excellent. This has been another edition of Special Reports. I'm Laurence Colletti. Until next time, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.